Hi, this is Erin Grushon with Burgess and Nightbull. We are currently working with KYOVA to update the Metropolitan Transportation Plan for the region. In this presentation, I'm going to provide a little bit of background information about what will be included in that Metropolitan Transportation Plan, or MTP, update, and I'll also let you know our current status and what the next steps are coming up. The MTP is a long-range multimodal transportation plan. It's going to look out to the year 2050 and identify strategies and improvements to the transportation system that will address all transportation modes and all potential users of the system. That will include roadway improvements, pedestrian and bicycle, transit, and freight improvements for highway, rail, aviation, and maritime. This slide shows the process for updating the MTP. Currently, we're in the first step of the process, which is assessing the existing conditions. As you can see on the slide, public and stakeholder engagement will carry through every step of the process, so we're also currently conducting some of our initial public and stakeholder engagement efforts. We are currently going through our first round of public engagement for the MTP. Right now, we have an online public open house meeting running on the KYOVA2050.com website. The online open house includes a presentation video with background information about the MTP update process. There's also an opportunity to provide input. There's a couple of different ways that can be done. There's an online survey on the website that includes questions about the current transportation system and priorities for the region. There's also a mapping application where you can provide some location-based comments. We're asking people to submit comments during this initial round of public engagement by October 20th so that we can consider that input as we move into the next phases of the MTP update. In addition to the public outreach I was just talking about, we're also starting to ramp up on our stakeholder engagement efforts. So some of the things that we're going to be doing to engage stakeholders include forming and meeting with an advisory group. That advisory group is going to include everybody who's in KYOVA's TAC and policy board, as well as some other key transportation stakeholders in the region. We're also planning to conduct interviews, either small group or one-on-one interviews with some stakeholders. And then finally, we're going to conduct and facilitate focus group discussions. The focus groups will consider economic development and freight. There will be an active transportation focus group that looks at bicycle, pedestrian, and transit transportation. And then the third topic is diversity, equity, and inclusion. The first advisory group meeting has been scheduled for October 12th from 10 to noon. That's going to be a virtual meeting. As I mentioned earlier, TAC and policy board members are included in the MTP advisory group, so you should have received an invitation from me for that meeting. If you didn't, please reach out to KYOVA and they'll let me know, and I'll make sure to get the invitation to you. The agenda for that meeting includes a brief overview of the MTP update process, a discussion of draft goals and objectives, and a presentation on the existing conditions assessment that we're currently conducting. And then we're going to lead a discussion with participants on the transportation system needs, opportunities, and constraints in the region. I'm going to conclude with some information on the overall project schedule. As mentioned, the first advisory group meeting is scheduled for next month. We're also planning to start the interviews and facilitate the focus groups next month. Then we will have 2 more meetings with the advisory group before we complete the draft MTP in February. If you are interested in being involved in the focus groups or know of someone who you think should be invited to participate, please reach out to me or to KYOVA and let us know. My contact information is provided on the next slide. Thank you for the opportunity to provide this update.